lucky that I get so much support. As long as they keep coming and I keep playing, all right, I'm going to keep going. I just love it.
Good afternoon. Time is marching on. Those pictures of Jimmy White winning the Grand Prix are of a 1992 vintage, some 13 years ago, and he's still at it, still giving as good as he gets against youngsters who are half his age. And he's not the only one at this Grand Prix in Preston this week, because 48-year-old Steve Davis still going strong, as is Darren Morgan, the Welshman who's having a very good innings this week, and he's a mere stripling of 39. Combined age of those three players, 130, not out.
Coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up, it's there.
Yes, good to see Welshman Morgan, once the world's number 8, enjoying a revival in form. But the old guard's opponents are no respecters of reputation. 22-year-old Ricky Walden sent John Higgins packing from Preston last year. And Michael, the hitman Holt, has already inflicted serious snooker bruising upon legends like Stephen Hendry in his career. The new breed meets the vets today. And still young at heart, we'll also catch up with one of the sport's most distinguished champions, John Spencer.
And I'll be down here in the Q zone, as ever, in front of my live studio audience. Plenty of generations down here. The younger ones won't have seen Jimmy White at his absolute best, but the older people certainly will. But the bottom line is, they all know who Jimmy White is.
They do indeed, John. Now, I know snooker is an indoor sport. This may sound daft, but you'd be surprised at how much the weather plays its part in the sport. Not because there's a hole in the Guildhall roof or anything like that. It's because climatic conditions can affect the speed of the tables here. You've heard of the stimp meter in golf? Well, prepare yourselves for snooker's equivalent.
Well, these championship snooker cloths here at the Preston Guildhall go through a lot of processes, and who better to ask than Steve Lobley here from Struns. These are fantastic, but it's a long process to get them here, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So approximately 22 separate steps going from the raw wool to the finished cloth.
Now, of course, these are shaved cloths, which you probably wouldn't get in the ordinary snooker club. How many times do these actually get shaved before they get put down?
Roughly 12, depends on the precision we have to get them to, because obviously we're inspecting them each time we do it, and we polish them, and then we may go back for a little bit more just to get the nap exactly right.
Now, in golf, they have a thing called a stint meter. You know, Augusta, they always use to see how fast they roll. I believe you've got a process as well you can do to see how fast the cue ball is going to go down the table here.
Yeah, what we do is we measure very precisely the roll of the ball down the table and up the table, because obviously the nap going one direction means that the ball will travel less distance coming up the table. It's part of what the players have to deal with. So what we have is a precisely made aluminium ramp with a ball that we let go, and then we measure with a laser measure exactly the distance the ball goes.
Now, of course, temperature and humidity, they're the two big factors, aren't they? They must affect it. We've got table heaters underneath here that are on permanently. Atmosphere outside, that make any difference?
Sometimes what you're really looking at is the atmosphere inside the venue, over the table. Two things that really affect it: humidity, relative humidity, and the temperature around and on the table, because wool, and these cloths are 100% wool, naturally absorbs water to a very, very fine degree, very, very precise degree. And obviously, if there's very, very high humidity and low temperature, then the cloth is going to absorb a little bit more water than it would do normally, and that might affect the speed of the cloth. And that's what the professional players have to deal with, obviously, with the nap.
Would you expect it to get quicker as the week goes on?
Well, again, if you can keep the atmosphere and we don't have a lot of very, very wet weather outside, you know, or by the same token, if it gets very, very hot and dry, won't be in October, but if it gets very, very hot and dry, then you might find the table might speed up a bit. But that's the purpose of having a look at it at the beginning.
Well, we'll let you get on with your stint meter, and it'll be guillotined by television if it doesn't get any quicker.
Well, there was light drizzle in Preston yesterday, but this morning it's been tipping down. And so with the help of Assistant Tournament Director Martin Clark, let's see if that has affected the speed of the table. Now, yesterday, the cue ball travelled 2 metres, 48 centimetres. And today, 2 metres, 41.1 centimetres, so almost a full 7 centimetres difference. I'm not quite sure what difference that will make to the players. I'm very pleased to have John Virgo in the studio with me today.
Yes.
The man who stays cool no matter what the temperature is, John.
Yeah, stint meter expert, you've got him.
How much do the players, never mind the science, basically know that things have speeded up or not?
Well, obviously, whenever you play a shot, you put your hand on the table. And if it's really damp conditions, you can feel it under the palm of your hand. You know, you're used to putting your hand on the table. And that's why you see a lot of players just stroke the table just to feel, you know, whether it's dry or a little bit damp. Obviously, it is affected by the outside weather, and also if the doors are opened in the arena. This is a big arena here at the Guildhall. And I think particularly early on, we've seen a few kicks which players put down to a difference in temperature. But in the main, a couple of good safety shots, and you get the pace of the table. And if it's running a little bit slower, then you just have to put a little bit of pace.
Is there one venue above others which is renowned for being a bit hotter, a bit clammier, and therefore affecting the tables?
Well, I think the Crucible Theatre, when on the first couple of days, all the doors are open while they're putting in the tables and getting everything ready, you know, then you can get a mixture in hot and cold, and that makes it a little bit different. But normally when you get into the second or third day, the players are comfortable, the temperature should remain constant, and away you go.
I'm also being reminded that Bournemouth has the same situation. It's by the sea, and I think it's by a municipal swimming pool as well, which seems to make it.
Oh yeah, well, Bournemouth, the BIC, we used to play there. You know, we've not played there for a few years, but yeah, that was tricky. But they usually, most of them, the first couple of days is the trickiest bit.
Okay. Well, I know that the humidity, 55% yesterday in the arena, is 57.5 today. It could slow things down a bit, we'll soon see. But no matter whether it's fast or slow, you'll always get a good pace around the table from Jimmy White. And Jimmy and his opponents, Ricky Walden, they set a quick pace into the arena today, short while ago. As ever, a wonderful welcome for Jimmy. Fans have been packing into this Guildhall in Preston to see him in this second round match. Remember, best of 9 once again. And we'll join them in the second frame live because Walden has won the first frame. So I shall hand you over to the capable hands of Clive Everton and the Cuban-heeled Dennis Taylor.
We're all very proud of your dancing exploits, Den. Yes, first frame to Walden. He made a decisive 37 from mid-frame, which was very tactical up to then. And young Walden hasn't missed a pot of any significance so far. Dangerous opponent for Jimmy White.
Yes, he's just been a pro since the year 2000, Ricky, and a very capable player, and a player that's going to continue climbing up the world rankings. He's currently 48, but provisionally on 1 year list he's 35. A very talented player.
Tricky red attempted to right corner. Yes, Walden had 2 wins over John Higgins last season, and his ranking also benefited from Steve Davis having to retire from their match in the China Open with dizziness after inadvertently nutting a steel door.
The steel door did come off worst, I take it, Clive. While this little safety battle's going on, I'm going to test you, Clive. Do you remember rain stop play once at snooker?
I do indeed. 1973 World Championship at City Exhibition Halls. Fred Davis versus Alex Higgins. The rain started to come through the roof.
There was a lovely photograph in one of the papers where they had a photograph of Fred and Alex underneath an umbrella. I think it's the only time that rain stopped play at a snooker match.
Bit thick even for Manchester. Meanwhile, Walden doesn't like this. Yes, all he could do there was attempt that long red with no possibility of position on the colour, but just to get himself another shot.
Couple of reds for Jimmy to go at. One in the middle, one to the left of the black. It's the one to the middle. That's the one he's taking.
1.
And it didn't really matter which side of the blue he got because of the red next to the brown, so he can just drop this in and leave that red on. But the pink up on the green spot doesn't help the situation, and look at the black.
6.
It's completely out of the game at the moment. Be interesting to see whether he plays for pink here, because the pink on its own spot would be much better. And that's what he's played for. As you see, the pink spot is clear, and if he can drop on a red, the pink back on its spot would definitely help Jimmy White's cause here. Well, this is a bit awkward now. It's very risky to try and develop the black from this situation, and it's not going to be easy to get round the back of the red and black to get on pink or blue, so he may be forced to try and play a nice little cannon onto the red next to the black here. And how's his luck? Well, that
14.
Can he get past the red? He's unlucky if he can't. He's okay. He can hit cushion first, and I'll tell you, it'll automatically take him out onto the couple of reds here. Just cushion first. And it left him a choice of reds.
Black spot not available.
21.
So the black going on the highest available spot, in this case the green.
$22.
It's amazing how low Jimmy cues at the white. He doesn't always hit it where he's pointing, right down in the cloth, and then he just comes up a little touch. He's always done that, but he's so good at this type of shot, delicate little screws and stuns.
28. 29. $35. 36.
Well, there's two more easy reds, but he's going to need one of the difficult. There's three reds that are not too well placed.
$42.
So he needs three of these reds to make the frame safe.
43. Sure.
Tried to develop the two reds.
49.
Still short of the winning post and out of position now.
Jimmy
They're
White,
always
49.
delicate shots into the middle pockets.
Yes, he obviously thought that was worth a go, and was planning to pot pink next, and red to left corner as the ball to leave Walden needing a snooker. He thought it was worth the risk with two reds tight together, making it unlikely that Walden would clear up.
Clive, I'm going to put you on the spot again. Ricky Walden is from Flint in North Wales. Is he the highest ranked player we've ever had from North Wales?
If he isn't, he soon will be. And oh, Dennis, you do give me some posers. I think he already is. Yes, he does live at Flint. He's qualified for both Wales and England. Chose England. Well, that was a pretty bold shot.
It certainly was, and we all know Jimmy White's pretty good at this type of shot.
But White failed to put that long pot away, which, as long pots go, wasn't so very difficult.
One.
It's those two reds that are going to prove to be a problem for Ricky. He's got to develop those if he's to give himself a chance in this second frame. Yeah, the two North Wales players I was trying to think of, Roy Andrew Arthur, Clive, and Colin Roscoe. He was a pretty good player. Both of them were very good players.
5.
One good thing about living in North Wales from Walden's point of view is that it's not far to Preston, where all the qualifying competitions are held. And he's been having to play in all the qualifyings to get into the main events.
6.
Well, can he pass the pink? If he pots the blue, can he just slip past the pink? He'd have to get so close to the pink. He's got to be very delicate with this cannon. If he pots the blue, he's just got to slip past the pink and try and just nudge the reds. Doesn't have to hit them very hard.
11.
He didn't quite judge that shot, so at least he's back in this second frame, 23 points behind, and after the next shot all the balls will be in potable positions, you would feel. He's a very thin edge here. He doesn't want to open them up too much.
Ricky Walden, 11.
Well, he may have left a chance for Jimmy. Looking at that red that's near the right corner, there's a possibility that Jimmy might snick it in.
Oh. Maybe that's an important kiss off the brown if it's preventing Walden getting to the potting angle, but it's not. Still Still not easy though, this. Cue ball almost tight to the baulk cushion.
Has he got away with it? Is that red going to run onto the bottom cushion? Not quite.
But the other red has run under the side cushion. And white needs both reds to clinch the frame.
Well, he's left-handed, Jimmy. He might be able to screw over and leave himself a chance to the last red. If he can get enough screw on this, he can pot the blue and get somewhere over there, and being left-handed, he's got a chance.
This is frame ball, in that it would leave Walden needing a snooker.
He's just a wee tad unlucky. Another inch off the cushion, this would have been a much easier pot. Well, it's a wet day in the Guildhall and Preston. Well, it's not wet in the Guildhall, it's wet outside, but this crowd, well, we've got a packed audience here to watch Jimmy, Clive.
13.
Still one of the biggest box office attractions in the game.
Jimmy White, 13.
To leave Walden needing snookers. Three 4-point snookers required.
Jimmy was doing a little dance around the table there. We'll have to get Jimmy on Strictly Come Dancing next year.
Not strictly Victor Sylvester, but maybe we can work on it.
Two. Ricky Walden, 2.
Shouldn't be a problem, just missed the brown, back across the table. He should escape from this.
Walden still needs 3 4-point snookers, but 1 4-point and 1 5-point snooker would enable him to tie. So if he can get the first snooker, we might see him pot green and brown if he can, and then try and get the second snooker from the blue.
That's a bit of a careless one from Jimmy.
12. Ricky Walden, 4.
Looked to be a straightforward escape there.
Well, there's the 4-point snooker that Walden needed. wasn't in a position to attempt to pot the green there. But I think he well may if he gets the chance. One 5-point snooker to tie, as opposed to 2 4-point snookers to win. Of course, the downside of relying on a 5-point snooker is that there would be only 2 colours to get the snooker behind. Now White has fluked one in return, which prevented Walden from playing for one, at least on purpose.
Well, we could be in trouble. This could be a very difficult snooker to get out of if you can get tight in behind the pink. And it wouldn't be a bad thing to try and get the green somewhere near the black. That would make it even more difficult. If he misses the black going down and hits it full ball, not quite. Got to be careful, Jimmy, that he doesn't hit the black here, but he should be able to miss the middle pocket and get to the green. And he's done the same thing again. He missed a similar
Ricky Walden,
escape
4.
just a few shots ago.
So Walden obtains his second lot of penalty points. So it's now 1 snooker to win, having needed 3.
Well, if Jimmy can knock this green in, he'll get a fantastic round of applause, because I think the crowd thought that he'd already leveled the match at 1 frame all, but it's not the case. Jimmy would certainly like to see this green disappear. Oh, and where's the green going? Just have a look at this. He could be tight in behind the blue. It all depends, because if he tries to get tight in behind the blue, he's got to make sure he doesn't pot the green, because the green will be going towards the right centre pocket. And let's see if he's got enough room to avoid that and still get behind the blue. Oh, that's careless. That was a great chance, and he's thrown the frame away now.
Yes, he'll be kicking himself. But he showed poor touch there, young Walden. White will be very relieved.
7.
Because when he saw the chance for Walden to lay his 3rd snooker, he could have been really worried.
12. 18.
So with more than the difficulty expected when he held such a good lead, Jimmy White has levelled the match at 1-all.
So very relieved Jimmy White to level up at 1-all. Now I'm down here with another victim, and you've got a question for me, Jimmy.
Yeah, John, I've listened to the commentary quite a few times, and they're saying how good you are at playing shots off the cushion.
Oh, thank you very much.
Could you help all the club players and show us how you take a shot off the cushion, please?
Well, it's interesting actually, because I do see a lot of players in the club, and if they've got shots that they can play, They don't want, even if they're the right shot, sometimes they'll avoid them because you know the cue ball is going to finish near the cushion.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things you've got to do, really. I see a lot of people when they play in the club, they lift the back of the cue up too much and try and dig down on the cue ball as if that's the right way to do it. And the problem with that is, of course, you bounce the cue ball into the bed of the cloth and it can come off with unwanted side. What you've actually got to do is come up the cue butt a little bit, shorten it all up nice and compact. I always think a good thing to do when you get on this is make sure your fingers are on, sort of on the outside of the cushion, like that, and put your cue over the white to start off with, which enables you, you know you're going to get through the ball then. It's about probably 6 to 8 inches over the ball. That's guarantee you're going to get through it. Now, most club players either go too low and then scoop over the white, or go the other way, as we've also said. You've just got to raise it slightly so the cue is above the cushion. And then when you come back, just get your eyes on the cue, on the object ball, and smoothly follow through.
Thank you, John.
So do you want to have a go?
Yes, I'll have a quick go, John.
I mean, I know you're quite a good player, Jim, really. There you go.
Okay.
Come on. I'll show the nation how good you are.
Okay. Cushion shot. Fingers on the cushion.
Yeah, I'd move the fingers back to there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Over the white.
Yeah, you've got plenty of distance there. Nice and smooth. Come back smooth. Don't panic about delivering the cue. Take your time. Eyes on the object ball and straight through.
Missed it.
You've missed it.
I missed it.
I'm not asking you to do anything again.
Sorry, John.
The match has been in progress 53 minutes. It's 1-1, and it's proving an interesting confrontation of experience versus youth.
Jimmy White Tipperick.
Ten members of the top 16 have already made their exits. Jimmy White doesn't want to be the 11th.
Yes, Jimmy quickly sending that red back up the table again. He didn't want to get a sort of a topsy-turvy for him where the reds start going up the other end. Well, I don't think either player likes to get involved in that. But he hasn't covered this one. And he's a good long potter, is Ricky Walden. You wouldn't think he could get past the brown from that picture, would you? But look at that shot.
1.
Very good cueing to knock that in. And if he somehow could get near the red that's on the black spot next to the black there, but he's not got a very good angle on the blue to drop on that one. There's the stance of Ricky Walden, which is quite unusual. Both legs bent, usually the back leg straight. I think the other player is Mark King, who's even more bent with both legs, Clive.
6.
Yes, coaches don't like to see that because it's more difficult to keep steady with both legs bent than with one braced and straight.
But Ricky's quite a tall lad. He's well over 6 feet tall, so he must feel much more comfortable doing that. And at the end of the day, if you knock the balls in the pockets, that's what it's all about.
7.
And Jimmy, you can see his back leg absolutely straight there, his left leg, and the right leg slightly bent. And there's the difference. You see both legs bent, but he's a lot taller than Jimmy and he feels more comfortable. He'll not be feeling very comfortable after that shot, though. Maybe he's had a bad contact. But I think the fact he didn't get on the pink as he intended, he had to drop it in to stay on the red, and that's the type of shot, Clive, you can get a little heavy contact.
Yes, evidence for that was that the pink went straighter than he intended. That's what usually happens with a kick.
1.
Clever shot. If he's got an angle here on this red at the back of the bunch with the pink over the pocket, he could bring quite a few reds into play here.
8.
Black won't go, as you can see, but he could open the game up.
9.
Oh, where's the white going? This is going to be unlucky. Can you believe it? You may have to attempt to pot this pink off the side cushion. He's very unlucky there to finish in that situation. The pink was there, so this is the only thing that could go wrong with that shot. How unlucky was that? But he may be forced into playing the pink. That's the type of shot he can, because he can't hit any other color. Might as well have a go at that.
Yes, could pot the pink via one cushion, although it would offer better position if he could just strike the second cushion just before the pink, because that would take the cue ball out into the table again, onto his next red.
Well, if he pots this, this will bring the house down. He keeps looking at the pink, and then he keeps looking at trying to get out of the snooker via side cushion. But it's back to the pink.
Pink ball.
Now, can he pull it off? It's close. It's there.
And he did use the second cushion.
$16.
Thinner on the blue than he would like.
Sure. 21.
4 loose reds, but he'd love to get on the one that's next to the black in a few shots' time. He had a look to see if the pink was available into the left corner, so he's just thinking 2 or 3 shots ahead. And the pink will clearly go, as you can see. Might even
22.
play for the red that's next to the black now. If he's dead straight on the pink, he will. If he's not, he'll just play for one of the others. He hasn't got the angle to run through for that red. But there's plenty available here.
28. $29.
And that's just developed another 2 reds, so it's an excellent opportunity.
$35. 36.
It looks as if he might decide just to remain on the pink, where the reds are now.
$42. 43.
Now, those shots look so easy, but when you're starting out at the game of snooker, they're so difficult to play. Little stuns and screws. Now he's got the red that's next to the black, although, yeah, he's okay.
49. 50.
Good performances from Jimmy. I think that last frame has given him quite a bit of confidence.
Very nice close control.
57. 58.
Just one more red needed.
65. 66.
Walden resigned to going 2-1 down.
$73.
I think Jimmy White-Clive was born to play snooker, wasn't he? He just loves entertaining the public.
74.
He does, and I think it's his love of the game which has enabled him to retain his keenness and commitment.
It is quite remarkable to be back in the top 8. A lot of
81.
people were writing Jimmy White off a few years ago, but they've done that at their peril.
82.
It is 10 years since he's been in the top 8. And there's a chance here
89.
that he could complete the 250th century
90.
of a career which has run into 25 seasons.
Look at this shot here. Terrific.
98. 101.
A Jimmy White special.
105.
Always likes to entertain the crowd at the end of a frame. He'll probably try a little spectacular shot here, up and down the table with the white.
Jimmy White, 105 and the frame.
Some of the old white magic there. His break of 105 takes him into a 2-1 lead.
And that gives us a chance to eulogise a little bit more about Jimmy White, 250th century. Fantastic achievement. And as Clive says, for him to have been at number 18 in the world, John, and scrapped his way back into the elite, up to number 8, what does it tell you about the measure of the man?
Well, I think we've always known that ever since Jimmy was a young man. He was 17 when he won the English Amateur, you know. He's a great battler. And he does love playing snooker. And he loves the practice, and he loves everything about it. And you need that love if you're going to carry on. I think the same applies to Steve Davis, you know. It's a tough game to play. It's very competitive. And new eras come up challenging them, you know, and Jimmy's never been frightened of the battle.
How psychologically predisposed do you think he is to winning games? Is there something about his game which is slightly different in that regard from other guys?
Well, he's been at it so long, hasn't he? He's had so many reversals. You've only got to think of the World Championship finals that he's lost, you know, and he keeps bouncing back. I think the biggest pressure on Jimmy is the fact that everybody expects him to, you know, wherever we go, and I play quite a few shows with Jimmy, when you're going to win the World Championship again, you know, and the pressure is on him all the time, you know, and making that 100 break there will really be a boost for Jimmy's confidence. It'll help him relax. And in fact, he said to the people, look, you've come and seen me, and I can still do it, you know, and that'll be good for Jimmy, that 100 break there.
Sure can. Last one before the interval.
Yes, and when you talk about Jimmy White, the people always say 6 world finals he lost in. It's quite incredible. And just talking about world finals, Peter Dyke, who promoted the World Championship for 29 years, not too well at the moment. I know he'll be watching this afternoon, and hope you're keeping fine, Peter.
Yeah, so say all of us. I think one of the crosses that Jimmy White has had to bear is that his defeats in 6 world finals has tended to mean that he's been regarded as an underachiever. But he's won 10 world ranking events. He's won the Masters, the Irish Masters a couple of times. And he's played a very unusual safety shot there.
That was one of the all-time greats, that, but didn't intend it to work out that way. What a safety that turned out to be. Oh, this is a cracker. This was Jimmy's escape. What he was trying to do was catch this red half ball, 3/4 ball and leave the white over in the jaws of the corner pocket. Got to be careful. He can't come off the right side cushion and just willy-nilly roll into the reds. He could leave a pot on, so he's got to be very precise here with this. And that's why he's tried to come off a couple of cushions. If he nestles on this red, it's a brilliant shot. He's unlucky.
Foul and a miss. Ricky Walden, 4.
He's very unlucky there.
One.
I've watched Ricky quite a bit, Clive, and I do enjoy his mannerisms around the table. He's got a nice pace about himself. He's quite an attractive player, the way he plays the game, but nice pace around the table. And a smashing lad as well.
Rose 30 places in the rankings last season, from 78th to 48th.
Five. Six.
You could see Jimmy in the background looking down Ricky's cue there. Some players don't like to watch what's going on the table when they're sitting in their chair. There's Jimmy having a little peep around the corner.
No straightforward positional shot here for his next red.
He's got to miss the yellow with this. Always going to be very difficult.
11.
I think he just played to drop on the loose red in between the black and other reds there. He didn't seem to commit himself to try and open the reds up.
Ricky Walden, 11.
could say, Rick, he's got the pace of the table. He's got the white almost touching that ball cushion.
White knew full well there was a danger of the kiss there, but the pink was the end ball over the left-hand side of the table, so White didn't have a return safety from that side of the bunch.
One.
That's a terrific shot there. Close to the cushion, having to play it with pace. In fact, we've seen John Parrott in between frames down in the cue zone showing people how to play that particular shot, and didn't he play it well? Well, it's amazing.
Ricky Walden,
He's played
one.
a terrific pot on a red, and then he's missed a sitter of a black, all because he took his eye off the black and was thinking about the cannon.
One.
Kyler just checking to see if the pink will spot. Doesn't look as if it will.
Seven.
That's better for Jimmy. Okay, may not be able to get onto the pink from his next pot. But well, he might be able to. The red next to the black. He looked at the one in the middle. He can't get on the pink. Needs a bit of good fortune here.
Eight.
Wasn't a good angle, that.
There was no point in playing that with any more pace, because it was always going to be a cannon on the green.
14.
Had to leave himself a middle to long pot on the next red, but knocked it in nicely.
Yes, that was a bit of vintage Jimmy there. It's the type of shot he was been so good at throughout his whole career.
20.
Not easy, that type of shot.
Twenty-one.
Yeah, the pink's out of commission just at present. Black's fairly safe.
$26.
Well, this needs a good shot. He can get on the blue. He's got to go around the angles there, though.
27.
got a choice now. He could pot the blue and just nudge the pink and reds, or he could just play for the loose red. He was trying to leave himself an option there of
32.
the red he's going to take, and also the one that's just to the right of the pink and reds.
Sure.
I think he'll have to play the cannon this time. So a key shot coming up. He wants to really hit the pink sort of full ball. If not the pink, then just slip past the pink and nudge the 3 reds free. Yeah, if he doesn't cannon the pink, if he cannons that red, it will open things up nicely. He's still okay. Hit the pink and
38.
Looking good again now.
Played a precision cannon on his second red to hold himself on the pink. It wasn't just any old contact.
He seems to be timing the ball better in his match against Mike Dunn. Mike put up a great performance, but Jimmy lost his timing and he was under hitting a lot of the shots. That seems to have disappeared today.
I think the outstanding feature of White's performance this afternoon
52.
has been his cue ball control.
53.
When he's got close, he stayed in close. Had a winning 49 in the second frame, barring some later snookering.
58.
Polished off the last frame with a break of 105.
59.
And in potting this pink, he's got another frame in the bag.
Yes, Ricky Walden's done precious little wrong. It's just that
65.
Jimmy's been so good in the last 3 frames.
66.
It's going to be very difficult to make another century
72.
break here with where the yellow's situated.
73.
White has a 92% pot success rate, a percentage which has been assisted by leaving himself so many easy pots.
Jimmy White 73 and the frame.
And with that break of 73, White clinches a 3-1 lead at the mid-session interval.
And finishing with a flourish, as always does Jimmy. Your impressions of the way he's attacked this match so far, John?
Yeah, well, it's gone well. He didn't get much of a chance in the first frame. The only thing I would say, particularly that frame, he was just relying on Ricky Walden making a mistake. When Ricky got in, he missed a black off the spot. Well, at this level, you can't afford to do that. But he's a good player, Ricky Walden. But as I say, that century break in the third frame would have really boosted Jimmy. And I think he can relax now, and Ricky Walden will really have to raise his game if he's going to get back into it.
Sure will. OK, well, we'll talk a little bit more, John, but I wonder what JP's masterclass is up to down in the Q zone. How's it going, John?
It's going very well, Hazel. We've actually done quite a few demonstrations. Now it's time for little questions and answers, and we've got a few boys here on the other side of the table who've got questions they want to know. Rob, we're going to start with you. What's your question?
Yeah, I just wondering, the quality of snooker, like it is these days, everyone's just getting better and better every year. I just wonder, why is it so hard to make maximum breaks, 147s?
Well, of course, maximum open breaks are very difficult because you need to have perfect position on the 15 reds to get perfect position on one colour, which is the black. And of course, if you're making a break ordinarily, you can go up for blues, pinks and all the board colours. But just to get perfect position every time from a red to the black, to clear the 15 of them and get right the way through, that makes it very difficult indeed. It's a talent, that. Yes, sure.
John, who's got the best cue in action on the green?
Who's got the best cue in action? Well, that's always a little bit subjective. We've got people at the moment like Sean Murphy, the current world champion, who's probably got as good a cue action as anybody. But you know, you look at the tournaments that Hendry's won, his cue action's been fabulous. Ronnie O'Sullivan hits the ball superbly well. If you were asking me somebody who really hits the ball tremendously sweetly, I'd probably say somebody like Stephen Lee. He seems to hit the ball effortlessly with no effort at all, and he looks a great player when he's in amongst the balls. And Callum, yes?
Which player's got the most cue power?
Which player's got the most cue power? Well, one of the members of the team this afternoon we've been watching is Jimmy White, and of course he's got fantastic cue power. Full screw shots right the way down the table. But probably the boy we saw play last night, Joe Swale, has got a very wristy cue action. He can get tremendous work on the cue ball. He screw it full length, and he'd probably have as much as anybody. But another commonly asked question I've been down here in the cue zone today, people keep saying, is there a correct way to chalk your cue? Well, I've been doing enough work, so why don't we get two other blokes who think they can play a bit to tell us?
Sean, chalking the tip, how often do you chalk and how much is it and is it necessary?
I think, to be honest, now thinking about it, I tend to chalk after most shots, and I think it's become more habitual than necessary over the years. I think what people need to remember is that it's made of leather, the tip, and unchalked can sometimes strike the cue ball a little bit strangely, and it can go off in all different directions.
Exactly. I think the worst case for a snooker professional, particularly at a critical stage in a match, is like to miss cue, because all of a sudden there's not enough chalk on his tip, or he was shooting down on the ball or jumped the ball or something like that. And when there's not, when you get a few bits on the tip, that's from lack of chalk. So it's quite necessary to keep it well chalked, but not too much.
Absolutely, you know, especially in the conditions that we use, you know, if you've got too much chalk on your tip, it tends to stick to the white.
Sticks to the white.
That can lead to kicks, funny rolls.
Goes on the table as well. You see a
yeah.
lot of chalk marks on the table from too much chalk.
And you know, it's something I need to watch, because I do tend to chalk my tip quite a lot. But it's a bit like a golfer's golf club in that they must keep the grooves clean at all times.
Exactly, yeah.
Chalking your tip promotes the shape of the tip. You can learn to dome your tip quite nicely, get a nice shape to it. It gets rid of all the muck that could be on it.
And isn't it amazing, you know, at the end of a frame when the frame is already over, that you never really see a player chalk his tip like for the last 5 or 6 shots on the colours,
that's right,
you know?
That's right. I think it's just because they're more relaxed and they're not worrying, they're not so cautious anymore. They're just having a bit of fun and playing around, and they don't really think about the things that could go wrong if they didn't chalk.
Yeah. So the main thing is just to keep it nice, make sure there's plenty of chalk on it, but not too much, and that's why players tend to blow it as well, isn't it? To blow the excess of chalk off the tip.
That's right. You'll see them. They'll be there chalking away. Give it a blow, and off we go.
Fair enough.
Sean and Ken doing a bit of work, but I fancy keeping John Parrott down in that cue zone. He's very much into it. You're working hard down there, John. Enjoying it?
Yes, I am enjoying it, but I know you've got cakes in that studio, and I'm on my way right up there now. Get that kettle on.
Yes, the outstanding feature of the match so far has been Jimmy White's close control, particularly in the century that he made in the third frame. We've put this sequence together for you. Just watch the cue ball. He's no more than 12 to 18 inches from his next ball all the time throughout the break.
Well, just have a look at the white as he continues the break. I don't think it hits a cushion. We're just going to keep our eye on it here, but each shot still no cushion, still not on a cushion. And this is the secret of break building, and we talked about Jimmy and his close controls, little stun and screw shots, and still the white hasn't made contact with the cushion, which is quite remarkable.
Yes, each pot very easy in itself, but a lifetime's skill and practice has gone into getting that kind of close control. Eventually he leaves himself on a cushion, but by that time he'd made 105, so we'll give him that. We've been talking about Jimmy White, but his opponent, Ricky Walden, hasn't done much wrong so far, although he did miss a black from its spot in the last frame, which cost him 73 from White's deadly break making this afternoon.
Thank you. Frame 5, Jimmy White to break.
Let's see if Jimmy can get this White tight on the ball cushion behind the green. That's what you're looking for off the break-off shot. That's pretty good. Just one red that Ricky can see. And in fact, he might be forced into trying to pot it. If he takes the pot on, he's got to get it, because there's a good chance he'll leave Jimmy should he miss it.
Walden had potted 67% of the long pots that he attempted, a higher percentage than White. But of course, White has been piling up the breaks by staying in close.
Just a wee bit thin on the blue. He can take the yellow and get to the red that's between pink and blue if he wants, but well, is he going to play the cannon? It's a thin one, but he still might be able to pull this off. Well, how's your luck? He's okay. Being a left-hander, he can reach over the pack here.
6.
Well, if there's a gap through to the pink, he might be okay here. And there is just. But the only possible red he can get on is the one that's on its own. That's the only available red from this angle by the looks of things. And he can take that and possibly get onto the black.
13.
Well, he could have gone onto the black if the pink hadn't have gone onto the black spot. That spoiled that, with the pink spot not being available. Now this really would be some shot if he can pull it off. Is he going to take the blue and try and miss the cannon on the yellow and get back up to the pink and black and reds here? Just get
19.
the extra 5 points for that. It's almost impossible to get on a red there.
Dwight, 19.
Excellent long pot.
1.
got a bit of angle on the yellow, but has he got enough angle to pot the yellow and come up past blue and disturb the reds? One of the two reds behind pink and black might be available. In fact, it looks as if the red that's covering the pink spot might pot. Yeah, there we go.
3. Ricky Walden, 3.
Unforced error.
I think once again there he's thinking of the cannon and what he's going to do with the white. That's the only explanation for missing that.
The good news for Walden was that he was lucky enough not to leave that red. Impeccable length on the safety.
And that's just as good. That's a terrific shot from Ricky there.
No straightforward safety here. Avoided the double kiss on the red that he played, and the cannon on the red tight to the cushion.
Might be able to take a shot to nothing. He might be able to pot this red behind the pink spot and
1.
that's one of his strengths. He's a terrific long potter, is Ricky Walden. And that was well spotted. It's what we call a shot to nothing. He wasn't going to leave a great deal, and if he missed the red, the fact he's potted it has given him the advantage, because now he's got Jimmy snookered.
1.
And the red that Jimmy wants to land on is the one just to the right of the pocket as you look at it there. That's the red he'd like to nestle on, but how does he get there? And the one to the left of that's slightly in the way. He's left a pot on for Ricky, but if the pink doesn't go, can't get on a colour. All depends. The red's a comfortable pot, as you can see, and I don't think he can get to the potting angle of the pink after he knocks this in.
Well, as it happened, Walden didn't even pot the red, but White's escape was pretty carefully calculated. He was thinking that if he left that red dead straight, Walden wouldn't be able to do anything with it.
Got to be a bit careful. If he plays off this red to get back up the table, if he hits it a bit think, he could cannon the red that's just to the left of the second white line there. Wow.
1.
He's got a very good white, as you can see. So he's not really... not going to gain a big advantage. It was a good shot in itself without the fluke.
Couldn't do anything with the green, too straight.
Ricky Walden, 1.
That shot he's played there, Clive, he's made that look very easy. That's one of the trickiest little shots to play, to just land on a colour like that.
Yes, particularly when you're going across it slightly. It's easier if you're rolling straight up behind a ball. Before the television age, young players used to take a long time to acquire a safety and a tactical game, but they've seen so much snooker on television that they pick it up very quickly. They've got good tactical games when they're still juniors, quite a few of them.
Yes, there's no quicker way of learning than watching top professionals playing and repeating what you see. And they've been watching this man for, well, 25 years as a professional.
Very good pot. It's an awkward angle. His third excellent pot of the frame.
There's a little shot here I would play. I would just roll up to the green and leave Jimmy hampered like a Chinese snooker. He's playing off it by the looks of it. No, he has played that shot, and that sometimes is just as good as a snooker.
Because in having to elevate the cue as the player bridges over the green, he's looking more into the bed of the table than actually at the cue ball, and the cue ball will also have a tendency to bounce, though not very much at that speed. And as it happened, it wasn't difficult for White to leave everything safe.
He's got a shot here, has Ricky, off a couple of cushions and get the white up there. Well, has he hit it hard enough?
He's covered all reds in the black spot area. White just having a look to see whether there's anything that could possibly be left. To right corner.
Yes, he wants to have a go at this because the pink's available if he should knock it in. can't see him doing much, because if he rolls the pink and he can't get on a red.
Jimmy White won.
It's one of those where you're not particularly bothered whether you potted or not, Clive, because he knew he couldn't get any position, and the number of times you miss it when you know there's nothing available after the pot. It's amazing.
What you've said is true, Dennis, but it would have been better to pot the pink, because then next shot White could have taken the cue ball to the baulk cushion instead of allowing his opponent to put him there. Thinnish contact though, not too hard. Was never going to disturb the bunch sufficiently to leave a red on.
Both players having to be careful here. That's why they're hitting the red on the thin side, because if they catch it thick, they will open that bunch of reds and push one towards the corner pocket. Oh, he's hit it too thick.
Foul. Ricky Walden, 6.
Far too thick a contact that time.
No one could have predicted the pink dropping in. And after potting 3 good balls in this frame, Walden really needed to pot that one, because pink and black are now in the open. But it wasn't easy.
And neither is this. I mean, there is one red he can get to, but look at the gap he'd have to go through, and not so much that. He's going to cannon into the other 2 reds, even if he does pot it. This is difficult. Yes, it was very difficult. I think he's got away with it. He has been very, very fortunate there, as Jimmy White. If one of those reds doesn't pat or pot into the corner pocket, Jimmy's been very lucky there. He tried a very difficult shot, did Jimmy? Especially having to force the shot that he attempted when he scattered all the reds. How did he get away with that one? Can he cover the red that's over the right corner pocket playing this safety shot? He's got to be very precise with the white here. Oh, has he fluked it? No. He's left that red on for the right corner pocket.
1.
Couldn't have finished any awkward than this. Well, he's looking at the pink, but that's a bit of a pressure pot. The blue's much easier. If he could stun this over the red that's near the right center pocket, might just be possible. It's not a great angle that he has. I mean, if he could get over to where the circle is, then he could drop that red in the middle pocket, but he'd have to sort of punch the blue in at quite a bit of pace. Now, this is a pressure pot, the pink. Doesn't like it, does he? Now, has he got an angle to punch the blue in and get over behind that red?
Six. Seven. Twelve. Thirteen.
He's got the perfect angle on the black. Now he's got to just be careful. The two reds that are together are available into the left corner, but it looks like a natural angle to cannon into the two is just to the left of the black. That's okay.
20.
He can play for the pink, but I'd be tempted to play up for the blue just to get, and then he's got a good angle to get up to the reds, but he might just drop it in and leave the pink. Now he's played for the blue,
21.
and it's always much easier to get there, to get back to the reds, and now he's got a choice. He played that well.
Sure. 26.
Just a little bit of a heavy contact there, and Jimmy White will be sitting there wondering if he's going to get back to the table in this frame. This is a pretty good effort from Ricky Walden.
$27.
Just overdone that slightly.
33.
Red, pink, red would take him past the post.
34.
Or blue.
Yeah, it was just a shot before there. He didn't get on the red as he intended. When you have to run away up the table, you can lose control of the white. Another good shot needed to get on that last red. And that's terrific. Well done. He was almost straight on the blue. And he forced the angle there. 10 out of 10 for that one.
39.
He's got some cue power, hasn't he, Dennis?
I like
40.
his cue action. I really do like Ricky Walden's cue action. And as you say, there's a lot of power there, so he can play all the shots.
$45.
Oh, left-handed, and he looks pretty good.
47.
First time I've seen him left-handed.
Yes, he waited until White needed about 5 snookers, though.
50.
Yeah, that's good thinking, that, Clive, isn't it?
$54. Ricky Walden, 54, and the free.
So that cool, well-taken 54 from Ricky Walden reduces Jimmy White's lead to 3-2.
Well, back down here in the cue zone. A very interesting shot in the last frame. And Rob, you've hung around. You've asked me a couple of questions. Now you want a demo. Shot with Jimmy White in the last frame. He said there was a Chinese snooker. This must be really difficult to play. I mean, you've got to raise the cue up in the air and play down. And it really is one of the most difficult shots. I think Dennis Taylor said on commentary that sometimes it can be as good as putting a snooker the other way around, but sometimes it's worse. So go on, Rob. We're gonna give you a chance to do it. It's my cue, so don't ruin it. But if you can just raise your cue up. Now, I think with this one, you need to be higher than that. Just a little bit higher if you can. And you need to basically feather the cue ball. The softer you hit it, the better than this. You don't want it bouncing off the bed of the cloth. See? Now, that's how difficult it is because you're not quite high enough. Now, this time, go back to it and go higher. Get yourself way up in the air like Jimmy was. That's it. Shorter with your cue. Right? Nice and soft. And that is an excellent shot. So all you club players out there, well done, Rob. Excellent shot, by the way. Fantastic shot. Remember when you've got that shot, not to panic, be a little bit deliberate with your cue action and nice and soft, and don't try and play any forceful shots. It'll bounce off the bed of the cloth. But there is one question I want to ask. To the font of all knowledge, Clive Everton, why is it called a Chinese snooker?
I suspect a John Parrott trap here because I tried to answer this question about 15 years ago and it ended up in one of our humorous packages. The answer is I don't know, but I speculated that it was something to do with the notion of opposites. A snooker laid in front of the colour rather than behind, and that's based on the fact that in China it's white if you're in mourning, black if you're getting married, which is very much in the notion of opposites. But I've really no idea whether that's true, and I'm sure we'd be very interested in emails putting forward an alternative explanation.
Well, I'm glad you cleared that one up, Clive. He does ask some awkward questions to John Parrott, doesn't he? Cheeky Parrott.
Thank you. Frame 6. Ricky Walden to break.
There's something, Clive. I used to never like going out in between frames because I found that you lost your concentration. Ricky went out, he's come back in, straight to the table for the break-off shot, and he catches the blue. It's as if you just lose a little bit of concentration when you leave the arena.
One.
White's attempt to leave black ball position fails.
Pink ball.
But it turned out that the pink was available.
7. Eight.
Here comes an alternative explanation the Chinese snooker.
Yes, I think we're looking for explanations, aren't we, Clive? So we'll probably put that up again for you. You can email us in if
14.
anyone knows exactly why it's called the Chinese snooker. There's the details on the bottom of your screen there. Jimmy White special. Far from it. He's usually so
Jimmy
good
White,
with the rest,
14.
but missed the pot by a long way there.
Very impressive in leading 3-1. White is now only 3-2 ahead. So is this match starting to turn?
Yes, I think the last frame was key, Clive, wasn't it? If Jimmy had have gone 4-1 in front, Ricky would have had a mountain to climb, but he looks pretty confident around the table, Ricky Walden, and he's putting Jimmy under a little bit of pressure here.
Six. Seven.
It's been a terrific standard if you look at the breaks. Jimmy's had breaks of 49, 105, 73. Ricky's had a 54 break, 37 in the opening frame. Pretty good solid stuff from both players.
Yes, and that 37 in the opening frame was decisive after a lot of tactical play.
Thirteen.
See the cue power of Ricky Walden again, because he's got to play for the blue here, screwing back with reverse side. Watch the white.
14.
This the last of the loose reds, but there might be one at the back of the bunch that's
19.
possible. But the one in the middle, he could leave himself a good angle on the blue. That's the one that's available for later on, but if he gets a good angle on the blue, he could go straight into the pink.
20.
Just depends how he feels. He can play for that loose red and then pot it and screw into the bunch, or he can go straight into them from the blue. Didn't cannon the pink.
25.
That was his intention, so the pink is still safe there. In fact, this is quite tricky to get onto a colour here. If he takes the red straight into the corner, I can't see him getting position. There is one possibility here. I don't know if he can pot the red that's to the left of the black spot and screw around the angles to get to the blue. It just depends on the angle he has. Maybe he hasn't got the angle to do that. I'm not sure if he's playing that shot. I don't think the angle's there.
26.
If he's on the pink. I don't believe it if he's finished on the pink there.
There are flukes, and there are positional flukes.
It's still difficult. He's bridging over the red, but if this goes in, what a result Ricky's had there. He's missed it.
Ricky Walden, 26.
Had he have potted the pink, he had a great chance to take the frame.
One.
Didn't intend to cannon the second red.
As long as he gets up past the blue, if he pots the pink, mustn't cannon one of the colours. Anywhere past the blue, then he'll have an easy pot. Didn't want to cannon the green. He's made it very difficult for himself. The long red into the right corner. Do you want to be in close control? As we showed you when he made his century break, he was never more than 18 inches, 2 feet away from his next shot.
Still struggling for ideal position though.
He's got to miss the cannon on the green if he plays this way. And because he's forced it, has he fluked it? What a fluke that could prove to be.
13. Sure.
Yes, and it's not so much the fluke, but what comes after it. It's given him a chance to go on to win the frame at this visit.
$14. $19. $20.
Just underhit that one slightly. He didn't have to move any reds, but he's not on the pink as he intended. As you can see, straighter on the pink would have been perfect. I think he's just about okay. I think the red passes the other red into this
26.
right corner. There you see it.
$27.
He's just lost a little bit of his timing at the moment. He's not getting the position as he's playing it. He's just slightly out. Now what is available into this
33.
right corner? Just about okay.
$34. Sure.
Red pink would put white 35 in front, but still with 35 on the table.
$40.
He's just looking at the scoreboard and he knows he needs the last red, so he's got to get a good angle on the pink to somehow get the white somewhere in near the black to leave himself a chance to roll that red along the cushion.
$41.
It's not going to be easy to leave an easy pot on the red. He might just elect to take the pink and then play a safety shot. It looks to be pretty straight on this pink. Yeah, just a good red. Send it up somewhere near the yellow and brown. And it'd be a pretty good thing if the pink spot, I was going to say, if it had been held there.
Sorry.
Just move the white a fraction there, Michaela, but it doesn't make any difference.
Yes, a rare slip up that from Michaela Tabb. Even though
Jimmy White, 47.
it's made no material difference. 35 in front then, with 35 on the table. And the black not even on its spot. A fact which won't have escaped Walden's attention. Any colour other than black with the last red would leave him needing a snooker.
Not quite a snooker, but Ricky knows that Jimmy can't get to the potting angle of this red here. Just thinking here, Clive, although he needs the red and the black to tie, if he does get a chance, he might pot the red and pink or blue because the yellow's right next to the brown and it would be easy to get a snooker.
Yes, he'd have to make it a good one. White would have to miss it, but that is a possibility.
Well, this is a chance. Now, he can get onto the black here. If he drops this in, the white will go towards the left corner pocket. If he stuns it in, he'll come off the side cushion and over behind the black. Well, he should have given that a little bit more care and attention. He concentrated more on the white there and forgot the red.
So here's White's chance to put the frame beyond reasonable doubt.
One.
It was so interesting there, Clive. Jimmy kept his head down until the red went in the pocket. A little bit like the way Steve Davis used to do.
5.
One of the classic ways of missing shots is lifting the head before cue ball is struck.
8.
Maybe that's why White was extra careful to keep his head down on that important ball.
12.
It's been a lucky pockets for Jim. He's flicked a couple in there.
Jimmy White 12 and the frame.
Jimmy White is 2 up with 3 to play. He leads by 4 frames to 2.
And he looks in complete command out there, doesn't he? Although, you've got to say, boys, because incidentally, John's back. He sniffed out the cakes, he's had one, and he's feeling a lot better. We'll move on. The 2 flukes that you had there, the first one was crucial in that frame, John.
Yeah, well, it looked for one moment that Ricky Walden was going to get right back in the match, and Jimmy was looking a little bit shaky, and he missed his blue by quite a way. Man, they say that's when you fluke them, don't you? miss the intended pocket by a mile, they could go in somewhere else. Very, very lucky.
Couldn't try that one at home and do it.
I'm glad you didn't ask me to demonstrate that in the cue zone. I'd have been there a month. It was a really big fluke as well, and of course perfect position off it, and you know those points would have been his opponent. So massive turn. But and I take the point that John said that he was just starting to look a little bit shaky there, Jimmy. There's just starting to a little bit of tension coming into it, and settled him down a bit.
And we've just seen Ricky begin to find his rhythm a bit more in this match, ironically, because we were talking earlier on, and Ricky didn't have a first round match. He'd got a bye. Quinton Hand didn't come to this championship, so this is his first match, and I suppose it does take a little while for you to find your rhythm in this situation.
Well, he's played the qualifier. I mean, Jimmy probably hasn't, although Jimmy's been playing in the Premier League, hasn't he? Yeah, but he seemed to be playing well, but he's missing easy shots, Ricky Walden. I mean, he's not missing long pots. In fact, he's long potting, he's excellent. But just before Jimmy got the fluke on the blue, Ricky got a real fluke on a positional shot when he played a terrible shot, didn't he? And he finished up on the pink, slightly hampered, but he missed the pink. So he's had his chances, but he's missing easy shots, which he can't afford to do.
I think one of the things to pick up on that we said earlier, that was Jimmy's, in the first few frames, his cue ball control was good. Ricky Walden's not quite as good.
Thank you, frame 7.
I think that's a big factor. You can't keep playing shots where you're slightly out of position all the time. At some point your break's going to break down. He needs to improve his cue ball.
Okay, let's see how the nerves affect both men, because Jimmy on the verge of a place in round 3.
White would like to win this frame to secure his place in the last 16. Without this match coming down to a tight finish.
Ricky just asked Michaela to have a look at the line of the ball here, because he's going to try a thin contact on the reds. That was just in case he might have missed it. Helped the referee to know exactly where the white was.
Michaela Taub, who will leave the circuit in a few months for the birth of either a brother or a sister for her son Morgan, who's about 7, I think.
I would have to agree with both John Virgo and John Parrott. Jimmy was starting to look a little bit edgy and wasn't quite timing the ball and getting through it the way he was early on in the match. I think winning that last frame might just have helped the situation.
I always think, though, Dennis, that 4-2 is a deceptively big lead, because you've only got to lose the next one and you're only 1 in front. Lose the one after and...
It's 4 each.
well, it's an even match, isn't it? With the momentum, with the player who's won the previous 2 frames.
Yeah, we've seen lots of matches lost from 4-2 in front. Meanwhile, Ricky having to give this quite a bit of thought, because there's no straightforward escape to the safety zone. There's a couple of very difficult pots, and there's the shot time, and quite rightly so here, because it's a big shot coming up. If he does try to pot his way out of trouble and makes a bit of a mess of it, just look at where the balls are situated. He could put Jimmy right in. And I think he may have left one. I've got a sneaky feeling that the red to the left of the black is on. I think Jimmy might be able to get through to that red. Not quite sure, maybe not. But there's one will go into the left center pocket past the pink, if he can't. No, he can't quite get to the potting angle of that one. Yeah, he's took it up into the corner. It's there.
1.
Very good cueing.
Sorry. 4.
I think Jimmy wants to dance with Michaela now.
They're all at it now, Dennis, after your exploits.
Five.
This is turning out to be a very good chance for Jimmy, but Ricky Walden knew that when he attempted that very difficult pot. He's got to just sit and hope that Jimmy can make a mistake. And that's a clever shot, that.
12.
He couldn't see a safety shot, and he just tried to roll this red in to get himself out of trouble. Taking
13.
that red clears the black spot. Good chance.
$20. 21. 28. 29.
'Unintentional cannon there means that there's only a couple of
36.
reds available now. He just knocked one safe. Didn't want to cannon that red. This is a delicate little shot just to round the back of the black.
37.
Straight's okay, because he can screw back for the red there that's near his right elbow.
And there's his colourful cue
44.
case.
45.
Colourful cue case for a very colourful player. And look at the spin he's got on that, but he's unlucky. He's 52 points in front.
52.
He's played it well enough because the white gripped and then spun again, but he's not on a red. Had he finished on a red, it would have been the end of match. I can think he's weighing up. I think you quickly forget about that. He was looking at possibly doubling the red that's close to the white, but there's a red he would leave into the middle pocket, so that's too risky. He's got a little bit of insurance with the red that's on the side cushion. And there's another one over there just to keep it company.
52.
The normal safety shot would be off that red there, but that's the natural angle. So if he hits it half ball, he would cannon into that. That's why he's a bit reluctant to play that one. If he does play that red, he's got to hit it thinner. So he is taking that one. Got to be a bit careful here. In fact, he didn't fancy trying to get back up to the safety zone. Clever shot again, Clive. He could have played up the table. Look what he's done with the two reds. He's put them safe on the right side cushion now, so that's 4 reds safe.
He's acquired a lot of craft in his 25 seasons on the circuit.
So he's going to knock the reds onto the cushion and Ricky's going to knock them off. Does this red pot? No. Good cue ball though.
It's pretty warm in there.
Fantastic venue, the Guildhall. We've been coming here for many years. Multi-table situation. It's perfect for spectators. John Parrott showed you at the start of this tournament how the player or the spectators can walk around the back of the arena when there's a multi-table situation, and it really is a superb venue.
Yet another booming long pot from Walden.
Well, it was an absolute cracking pot. It's one of those occasions where he wishes he hadn't have got such a good white. He's playing the roll up to the yellow. The brown is too risky. Oh, he hasn't reached, has he? Just. They're so delicate, those shots.
Walden's potted 79% of the long pots he's attempted, which is pretty high.
Foul and a miss. Ricky Walden, 4.
Well, that was a terrific attempt. And he's got to just land on this red, but he's got so far to travel, and he's got to be so precise. But he knows the angles there.
A bit more. Okay, Ricky.
He's got to get so close to that red to get to the one that he wants.
Hole and a miss.
It's
Ricky
very,
Walden,
very
4.
difficult, the shot he's trying. He's got to virtually miss the red that I highlighted by a fraction.
More.
I'm not actually hitting well, I see.
Right. Have a look at that. You all right, Ricky?
So can he get it this time? Got to be so precise. Big shot coming up. If he drops the red in, he's got a chance to get back into the frame. A lot of pressure on that one. And he knew he was leaving Jimmy a pot. One good pot from Jimmy White, and he's into the third round. He kept the head down there again. Jimmy knew how crucial that opening pot was.
7. 8.
This has been a pretty good performance live from Jimmy. He's had breaks of 49, 105, 73.
14.
He's had a 47 in frame 6 and 52 in frame 7.
15.
Because Ricky Walden, okay, he's missed a few easy pots, but hasn't done a great deal wrong.
And if he'd been given any encouragement, would have been a real threat.
22.
Already, Walden needs 2 snookers.
And there's Jimmy raising the butt of the cue so as he can get over this Chinese snooker.
Jimmy White, 22.
Walden battles on, but that should be it. 2 snookers needed.
One.
Yeah, these are so awkward. In fact, John Parrott in the cue zone had a lad try this shot and the white stuck in the cue.
Ricky Walden 1, being considered Freeman match.
The black stays out. Walden concedes. So that was a very impressive performance by Jimmy White before the interval, and pretty good throughout. White wins by 5 frames to 2 and advances to the last 16.
Where he will play Barry Pinch's for a place in the quarter-finals. And John, impressions of the way Jimmy is playing in this progression through this championship so far?
Well, he seems very good when he gets in the balls. He looks like he's going to score, which is a good thing. On the other hand, I think his safety play needs to brush up. He wasn't getting near the baulk cushion so much today as he would have liked. And Ricky Walden had a few chances, maybe let him off, but he'd been mighty relieved to get through. And, you know, as all the players say, they usually get better as the tournament goes on, don't they?
Very much so.
John, how tough is it? Because you're still in a situation where you're playing these whippersnappers who are not quite half your age yet, but they're pretty close to it. Are they a different breed? Do you sense something different about them?
I actually looked at the match today, and I think, you know, I said to John earlier, we were talking about it, I actually thought Ricky Walden was quite a good match for Jimmy to have, because Ricky Walden, you know, with the greatest respect, is a little bit more open than other players the way he plays. Don't get me wrong, he's a player who can wipe the floor with you and beat you 5-0 very early, but the type of player that if he leaves lots of chances for somebody like Jimmy, he's probably going to find it a little bit of trouble. He didn't really play as good as he can do. We all know he's a little bit better than that today, but he's a type of game that probably suits Jimmy, I think.
Yeah, because of course he put John Higgins out last year. It just shows how dangerous these guys are.
I think he's eaten him twice, Hazel, so he can certainly play the game.
Okay. Looking ahead, Jimmy's progression through this championship. Barry Pinch is next. How do you see that match going?
Well, didn't Barry beat him in the World one year?
They did play.
2 seasons ago.
They have played, actually.
Yeah.
But Barry Pinch is a very good match player. He didn't play that well the other night, so Jimmy won't take him lightly. And best of 9, you can't take anything lightly.
Well, we're never taking this man lightly. Here he comes. Well played.
Jonesy.
Well done, Jonesy and Jonesy.
Thank you.
Well played, Jimmy. I'm not sure whether you realise that was your 250th century that you knocked in there in your career.
That's something to
something
help me cheer on tonight with John Terry and the boys.
Absolutely. Assess the way you're playing. How much you enjoy that today?
Well, it was very tough. I was under a lot of pressure. You know, even with my corner man, Kevin Kelly, today I was a bit sort of, you know, even in practice, I was sort of very aggressive, you know, and I was missing balls in practice, and I was getting annoyed with myself, which is, you know, it's just taking it out of yourself, you know that. And but I'm hitting the ball well. I just want to win, you know, and just try and get some sort of consistency going. And we've only been 5 tournaments. There's a lot of pressure.
It's good to see you back top 8. I think it's the first time for a decade that you've been there. How much pride do you take in that achievement, getting back in there?
Absolutely, but I don't think I am. I think because Sean Murphy's world champion, he goes...
He's just...
I know, he's amazing, fair play to him, but if I'm at 9, I think, because I think Ian McCulloch's 17, so he has to play the extra matches, so I have to play... If I win my next match and Ronnie wins his up, we have to play each other, which, if I'd been in the top 8, you don't play a top 8 player to the quarter-final. Is that right, John?
But 9's still good, isn't it?
It's pretty good.
I'm very proud. You know, I'm putting a lot of work in. I enjoy practicing. I enjoy doing exhibitions. But it's very tough, you know. And the balls he was potting, I was putting them on the wood. And
yeah, no, but I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees. I mean, to me, looking at you out there, you looked in complete control. Particularly when you got in, you looked as though you weren't going to miss. The only thing was, I thought, I mean, I know he locked in some great long balls, but there's quite a few times you just didn't get past the baulk line, did you?
No, my safety was bad, and I went for a red with a rest when I should have played safe. And,
but you look good to me.
No, I've been practicing. I haven't really had much.
Sometimes you don't feel good inside.
No, you still do it, yeah. But it's I haven't had a lot of match practice really, so my safety was poor. I have to sharpen up on that.
I was talking to John earlier on about playing these lads that are 20 years younger than you now. What's the difference in them compared with when you were that age, starting out?
Fear.
Or lack of
I know we were, weren't we?
I don't know, you know, they just fancy pot and everything, and the game's improved so much over the last 15, 20 years. You know, they're just long ball potting, and, you know, he potted a couple of balls, well, I was just like in shock, you know. But a great player, but he missed a couple, and I had the run of the ball. I had a Steve Davis fluke on the fluke.
We saw that.
Well, he's never had none, has he?
No, he's never had one.
I think it was a Willie Thorne fluke.
I had a massive fluke. I ended up winning that game, but I played 2 bad positional shots through being under pressure and not sort of letting the cue go through, and lucky enough it went in the yellow pocket. But you have to take everything you can.
Just going to ask you about the pool circuit, because we've heard some chat from Ronnie and from Stephen Hendry and yourself about perhaps going and trying your luck in the US circuit. You bust your back the last time you tried pool, didn't you, against Phil Taylor?
Well, I couldn't break the 9-ball. You know, I find it very hard to break the 9-ball, but I heard about Ronnie. When we first heard about Ronnie, I sort of thought, you know, what's Ronnie up to now? But fair play, there's a big break in the season, and you know, we're going to try a new sport. We've got so much time off in between tournaments. So, and I actually won an 8-ball tournament in Hong Kong once on a 9-ball table. So I know how to play 8-ball. So I'm going to have a go.
You've played a bit of pool. Have you not played in the States before?
No, only we played in China and Hong Kong only.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you have a go at that, Jimmy. But it's great to see you in great form here.
Thank you very much.
Stick around.